everyone, welcome back to another episode of our old farmhouse. In today's video, we're going to be talking about compost and everything you need to be doing to have your garden ready for the 2025 grow season. So with that said, let's head on over to the garden. Right here is my 3-foot tall raised garden bed, and I have a couple of these here on my property, but 2 here on the front. And really, when a lot of people think about growing and raised garden beds, there's a ton of benefits because first off, at this height, it's really easy to access everything that's growing into it, to weed it out. Raised beds oftentimes have less weeds because we're controlling what's going into it, but there are downsides to growing in raised garden beds, and today I'm only talking about the compost portion or the soil portion. A high quality garden bed or raised bed has to have good compost in it in order to get good growth out of whatever kind of plants you have growing during the summer. But that said, when you add that material into your raised bed, over time water dilutes those nutrients down. Now yes, rain naturally adds nutrients back into the soil, but between the nutrients getting washed down and the plants absorbing the nutrients from the soil, you're always running at a deficit, especially after that first year. So it's incredibly important that you're removing approximately 1 inch to 2 inches off the top, and that you're adding in new compost every single year. You also want to make sure that you're adding high quality organic nutrients throughout the year, and that's going to take care of a lot of that nutrient loss. Now, I do find it interesting along this row of raised garden beds that I have right here. You'll see in the summer the grass getting really green around the exterior of each bed. And that's not because of rainwater or wash off, that's because of the nutrients that are getting washed out of the soil. So it is important to understand that. I think a lot of gardeners forget that or don't even understand what's happening. So make sure that you are adding high quality compost to your raised garden beds. With that said, let's head on over to our in-ground beds next. All right, well, this in-ground bed, and I call it an in-ground bed because I'm growing directly in ground, but it does have some 2x6s kind of framing it out. In this area, we're going to be growing potatoes this year. And as you can see, when it comes to compost, you really can't add too much. Right here, I still got one more pile I'm going to add in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'll hose this down really well, and I still have to add in the peat moss. And then it will get covered with the underlayment that's right there. And we'll let it sit a couple of days before we get those potatoes planted in here. Now, as you can see, this material is still pretty moist, and it hasn't rained out here now in a couple of days. And actually today, it was a pretty warm day. So that did get dried out pretty quickly. Especially like when you're looking at the soil down here, which is the natural soil, you can see really a big difference. Now, compost isn't hard to come by, but if you don't have the space or the know-how on how to make it yourself, then it can become a challenge. And I can be honest with you, I have 3 compost piles that I make my own compost in. But unfortunately, I just don't have the opportunity to make enough of my own. So some of this I do have to bring in. And a great way of doing that is bartering, which is what I've done for some of it. I've had to purchase other, but this year we were very fortunate to be able to barter for this compost here. And really, if you search Facebook Market, it's a great place to find cheap or free compost. So check it out. It's all going to depend on your area, and oftentimes it's free with a small fee for delivery. I know a neighbor up the road, she had about 5 yards delivered for about $50 total, which beats any kind of like big box store or any garden supply store. So just keep that in mind. Now, as I said, compost is incredibly important, especially early in the spring, but you can add compost throughout the growing season. So don't think it's a one and done type scenario. Make sure that you're checking your garden throughout the year. And if you notice that your soil level is getting a little bit low, the best thing to do is add more compost. Now, I really hope you guys are enjoying these 2 to 3 minute long videos. If so, please consider subscribing. In the comment section, if there is a topic that you want more information on, if it's something I do, I'd be happy to make a video on it. And until the next video, we'll see you then.